Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dana and I want to sweeten you up today with this delicious vanilla cake, and also I want to wish you a very happy day to the ones that are celebrating today on St. Andrew, your name day. I'm gonna start with the sponge cake, for which I'm gonna need 4 eggs, 75 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or paste, 45 milliliters of milk, 45 milliliters of sunflower oil or canola oil, 80 grams of flour, 50 grams of cornstarch, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. I will first mix flour, cornstarch, and baking powder. This way we ensure that the cake will rise and bake evenly. After that, I will separate the eggs. I will have egg whites in my mixing bowl and egg yolks in another bowl. Don't drop any bit of egg yolk in your whites, because you're not gonna be able to make an awesome meringue if you drop any bit of egg yolk in there. So make sure that you separate them nice. Add a pinch of salt over egg whites and start to whisk them up really good. Add sugar gradually. We're saying here in Romania that we're adding sugar like in a rain, so nice and slow, and keep mixing until the sugar is almost dissolved and you have a nice meringue with stiff peaks. It's time to add egg yolks and incorporate them, and the rest of the ingredients, oil and vanilla and dry ingredients, oil and milk. Add them gradually, so until you finish. Add a bit of milk, a bit of flour, a bit of oil, and so on. Pour the batter in the cake form that I lined with baking paper, and also level a bit the batter with a spatula to make sure that it's nice and even, and bake the sponge cake in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and baked and you see that it has a bit of color on top. So level it now with a spatula, as I said. Make sure that it's well distributed, and put the cake form now in the oven and bake it. Let it cool down completely and try to remove the paper. Let's make the frosting now, and for this I'm gonna need 180 grams of soft butter at room temperature, 150 grams of sweet condensed milk at room temperature, and either 8 grams of vanilla sugar or 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract or paste. It's up to you, depending what you have. I'm gonna put the butter in a mixing bowl and whisk it up a bit with a mixer until it's nice and fluffy, and add sweet condensed milk and vanilla sugar. Mix them up together for 1 more minute and you're gonna have a lovely frosting. Separate about 2 tablespoons in one bowl, 2 tablespoons in another one. We're gonna color these frosting that we reserved. Cut the sponge cake in half we still have some frosting in the bowl in which we mixed first the frosting, and I'm gonna use that to put in between the sponge cake. So cut this now. We're gonna have a lovely delicious cake. Mix about 100 milliliters of warm milk with 1 teaspoon of sweet condensed milk to make a syrup. Place one of those sponge cakes that we cut and pour over half of that sweet milk and let it soak in the sponge cake. It might take a minute or two, but be patient because this way the cake will be delicious. In the meantime, in those reserved frosting that we saved in the tiny balls, I'm gonna add a bit of pink food coloring and green one, and I'm gonna have 2 colored frostings to make flowers and leaf and decorate this way this yummy cake. So over the sponge cake that we soak up with milk, I'm gonna add half of the frosting that is still in the mixing bowl and level it nicely, spread it nicely over that sponge cake. Place on top of this, after you level it, place the other part of the sponge cake. On this side is gonna absorb more and faster that milk, so add again the syrup and let it soak in, and put the rest of the frosting and level it nicely with a spatula or a knife, what you have handy. I'm gonna cut now the cake in 4 equal parts, but you can slice it in more servings if you prefer. I only cut it in 4, and I will decorate the cakes with those frosting that we already colored earlier. Keep the cake in the fridge before serving it. It is absolutely delicious. The frosting is really nice and creamy and awesome, and the sponge cake with that syrup, delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it already. Press the notification bell, give thumbs up to the recipes that you like, and comment down below. Have an awesome day, find reasons to smile, happy birthday again, and I'll see you here next time with another recipe. Bye bye!